play the role of point guard with Chris Dunn battling injury, so we will watch Cotton share the basketball as well. You have to go back to the 60s. The 60s, the last time that Fairfield was victorious. Providence has dominated this series, but of course, a shocker is what the Fairfield Stags are looking for. Vinny and I certainly glad you're spending your afternoon with all of us, and we trust you've enjoyed to this point your holiday. We're glad to be bringing you Big East basketball here on Fox Sports 1. Providence, as we talked about, one of the most valuable and well-rounded squads over the last decade, off to a 6-1 start this season. They were 19-15 last year, 9-9 in the Big East. Of course, the new Big East this year. The likes of Butler joining the crew.
It'll be interesting to see the start here for Ed Cooley's crew. Some rugged, low-scoring games at the Paradise Jam, but the Friars like to run it home.
Folks at home, let's play some college basketball, and we're certainly glad you are with us. Providence offensively has some power on the inside. Kadeem Batts can make a difference, certainly. He has the basketball. Quick jump hook in the paint, and he puts it home.
That's what Batts has taken to the next level, that touch on that inside interior of the defense. And Fairfield, as expected, starting with a little zone. They will change defenses repeatedly.
A little bit of light pressure for Providence. That one is knocked out of bounds by LaDante Henton. We keep an eye on LaDante as he is 3 points shy of that coveted 1,000 in his career. Kind of an effort guy, a do-everything guy for Providence.
Stat sheet stuffer in so many columns.
Up and under and fighting to earn that one. There he is, Marcus Gilbert. Averaging 11 points, about 5 rebounds a game.
He's the top offensive weapon that Sidney Johnson has for the Stags. Ed Cooley at the shoot-around this morning went over a lot of zone offense, and they're needing it here early.
Providence really takes care of the basketball. As you can see, lead pass, Cotton underneath. LaDante Henton at 9.99 in his career.
And so good sneaking behind the back lines of those zones.
Team captain in the miss. Sidibe, Amadou Sidibe. A little runner and a pretty touch for Josh Fortune, the Virginia native and the sophomore.
Fortune normally has to get it done from the perimeter. That time, surprise. No red jersey was there. Had the easy floater in the lane.
Providence off to a 6-2 start, a minute and a half in. We've seen both teams a little light pressure on the inbound. Certainly not any sort of a full court press out of the gates. There he is again with an answer. Fortune after just scoring a moment ago. He's got Harris out front. Harris up and under. Harris with the roll. That's Tyler Harris. Now this is a young man that may help take this team to the next level in the Big East.
Absolutely. As Sidney Johnson needs a quick TO, but Harris is the guy that Ed Cooley was excited about this entire offseason, coming from NC State, and it's because of his versatility. He's so good in the half court offensively, but Tyler Harris has repeatedly shown you this season that he's an athlete as well, finishing on the end of the fast break.
Perfect 4 of 4 from the floor and getting a lot of easy looks. They're earning them.
Yeah, and you know, for the Friars, they like to push the pace. They will run more at home than they do on the road. They'll run more here today than they did in the Paradise Jam, and it's when Ed Cooley is at his happiest, when the defense triggers the offense at the other end.
So that Paradise Jam, Coach Cooley shared with you, he's a little bit disappointed with his offense. This is exactly what he is looking for, these type of shots.
Yeah, they played teams that were very strong defensive transition-wise. Vanderbilt, Maryland, those are not easy teams to run on. He's thrilled about their defensive side of the ball. He wishes shots would drop a little bit more often, especially early.
Sean Brennan is into the game for Fairfield, another sophomore. There are some upperclassmen on the Fairfield squad, but this is truly Sidney Johnson's team as he took over a couple of years ago, the head coach. Pretty pass and unable to convert underneath. That one hammered away. Kadeem Batts does that so well. Malcolm Gilbert, the older brother, with the miss. Up and under, there's the bucket. Kadeem Batts after swatting it on the other end.
That wasn't fair that time with short of Brennan trying to cover the big boy Batts down low.
Marcus Gilbert has 4 points already. A little bit of pressure. It's light from Fairfield.
A little 1-2-2, three-quarter court more to control the tempo, slow the offense down, and set up the zone in the half court.
Talked about Providence playing down in the Virgin Islands in that tournament. Cotton through the lane, slices, dices, and puts it home. Bryce Cotton, the best all-around player, his first 2 points.
Returning Big East scoring champ, but that's the polish in his game in the offseason. That little runner and floater's gone to the next level.
You were talking about maybe just liking to step back and spot up and shoot a lot more. Tyler Harris with the left side gets it done. Used the right as his lead.
How many guys 6'8", 6'9" could handle it like that? Not just in the half court, but in transition.
Providence a perfect 7 of 7 from the floor. Off to a 10-point lead, forcing another turnover. And a foul in transition. We're still enjoying the energy of Batts, blocking shots, rebounding.
Kadeem Batts was the Big East most improved player last year, and it's because of his efficiency on both ends of the floor. But this is what Ed Cooley loves about him. Gets the block at one end, he runs the floor like a guard sometimes, really hustles rim to rim, and you love to see that energy out of your big guys.
It's fun to watch, game changer. It's going to make you earn it physically. And nearly picked off. Hinton ends up with the basketball. Batts getting close to 1,000 points himself. Came in at 955. Cotton in that inexperienced world as a point guard. That one batted away. Carson DeRocher is in. The big fella stands at 7 feet. Couldn't hold on. First turnover for Providence. And they whistle the big man, Kadeem Batts, as well. Tyler Harris transferred from NC State, immediately making an impact. You want to move to the top of the Big East, you better have bigs that can do this. Our score. Here's an inspired performance spotlight brought to you by Infinity. Of course, Bryce Cotton, we've been talking about him. We've seen him kind of shake off the cobwebs. He's hoping to continue to do that health-wise, but just doing everything, including sharing the ball this year better.
He is, and you know he's in a role right now that he was in last year when Chris Dunn, the point guard, was hurt, and you know Dunn's still struggling a little bit, coming back with nagging injuries of his own. Bryce Cotton has a nagging injury with his tendonitis in the knee, so he's going to handle the basketball more as a point guard, have to come off more ball screens than he normally has to.
A 2-to-1 assist to turnovers, just doing a fabulous job. And again, when you're a veteran, you hope that you can fill that kind of role for Providence and win some big games. That's the first 3-point attempt of the contest. Marcus Gilbert off the front of the iron. A second chance. Whistle is blown. KJ Rose, the freshman guard from Binghamton, New York. He'll go to the line.
KJ Rose, only a freshman, but known to be very aggressive when he penetrates to the rim. Good job by the freshman using the body that time.
First foul on Carson DeRochers. Rose, a 53% free throw shooter. Fairfield does their battle in the MAC. Seems like Canisius, Iona, Manhattan, the entire Northeast mid-major. There we go.
We got a little bit of a comedy show here. The ref got the ball stuck, and Tyler Harris, to the applause of the dunk, finally gets the net fixed. Looked like a Nerf hoop situation there.
And of course, when you think of Fairfield, you think of Providence's current head coach, Ed Cooley. He took a step to Providence, which is back home for him, and he did it by doing great work at Fairfield, a good mid-major program.
Absolutely, did a great job there. And actually, his first year at Providence a couple years ago had to play at Fairfield, which was very emotional for him. Now, pretty much just Maurice Barrow, who comes off the bench, is his only connection to this ball club. As you mentioned earlier, this truly is Sidney Johnson's full team.
And Sidney Johnson, 4 years as a coach at Princeton, played at Princeton. I'm looking forward to watching this big fella play a little bit with the spin and the touch. 7-footer out of New Hampshire, Carson DeRochers, his first bucket. Can be a difference maker in spurts in a game.
Yeah, especially defensively, but Some smooth offense right there with a little fadeaway over the right shoulder.
He didn't shoot that like a 7-footer, did he?
No.
Not even close. 3-point attempt long, Marcus Gilbert. That beautiful campus when you go visit Fairfield. Beautiful spot, established a school in 1942. You have a look at the Long Island Sound when you take a peek. About 5,000 students and one of 28 schools in the Association of Jesuit Colleges and Universities. Some of those schools in the Big East, like Creighton and Georgetown and Marquette.
A beautiful campus at Fairfield, but a big-time arena in Bridgeport. One of the best facilities, not just in the MAC, but in the Northeast for mid-majors.
Cotton with the miss. It hangs around underneath. Grabbed by Fairfield on the rebound. 10-point lead for Providence early on. Glad to have you with us. A little bit more than 5 minutes into this one.
I didn't even think he realized he was open there on the block.
We are hearing more whistles this year. They have tightened up the rules in college basketball.
They have, and you know, a lot of us in the game, and then a lot of fans are, you know, going a little crazy. We're thinking that it's new rules. They're actually not new rules. They're just rules that maybe were in the back of the rule book that needed to be brought up to the front of the rule book. So they're saying it's not an emphasis, though. They're going to stay with this throughout. So players and coaches have to adjust.
Simply put, it's much tougher to draw a charge these days. And you better keep your hands to yourself if you're anywhere outside of the paint. Sound fair to simplify it?
Absolutely.
Earl Walton, Tony Chiazza, and Gary Prager, we saw our officiating crew a moment ago. That one skips away. That's the second Providence turnover on the contest. Lee Goldsboro in there, the senior. The English-born senior out of Newcastle, England. Tried to skip that pass over to his fellow big man and Carson DeRoche.
See a lot of ball screens, a lot of staggered screens away.
Step back, another three-point miss. K.J. Rose back the other way, Bryce Cotton. Good look pass a little bit high. Harris thought he was bumped inside of the paint. An interesting mix of players on the floor for Providence right now.
It was, but you know what? I like the high-low look by DeRozier right there to Harris, because the majority of Providence's points, whether it's been in the half court or the full, have been points in the paint for PC.
And we find ourselves at this point in the season asking the question already, kind of who is Providence? Off to a 6-1 start. These are the games you know you have to win if you're Providence. Up and under. Boy, that was pretty. Lincoln Davis, the freshman out of Pittsburgh, PA. His first 2 points.
Yeah, it was very crafty. Good, tough finish. And it's a little bit of that full court pressure by the Staggs.
Getting a chance to jump onto a big floor, New Hampton School in Pittsburgh. Second chance, is it there? Up and under. He is fouled. He'll be at the line with a chance to pass the 1,000-point mark. He's at 999, the junior, LaDante Henton.
And Providence fans know this because they've been watching him for the last few years, but he's just a guy who is not going to wow you or blow you out of the water right away. The more and more you watch this guy, he's such a key to Ed Cooley's offense and defense, both ends of the floor. Such a nose for the basketball.
1,000 career points for LaDante Henton, the pride of Lansing, Michigan. Out of Lansing Eastern High School, 45 players had scored 1,000 or more in Friars history before that free throw was made. Congratulations to LaDante.
Very consistent. Known by fellow coaches to play extremely hard, rebounds the ball. There's so many things that don't end up in the box score, even though 1,000 points is 1,000 points.
So what you're talking about, I love that he's 6'6", and about 8 rebounds a game.
Guard guys bigger than him.
Second chance, and a nice job fighting to earn that bucket. Marcus Gilbert. What we saw in the paint before that was what we're talking about. Tough to earn a charge these days.
Absolutely. More footwork, got to be cleaner. Catering to the offense.
8-point lead for Providence.
Other way, KJ!
And maybe a little bit of energy for Fairfield. Says Josh Fortune. The sophomore's got 4.
High degree of difficulty shot make that time by Fortune.
Along the baseline. That's what he's known for. DeRocher swats that one against the backboard. Harris will go to the line. We've got a 1,000-point score. We've got a team trying not to look ahead to Kentucky. We certainly have a mid-major looking for an upset. Hang around with us. Banking in the game winner at the buzzer. We all remember that AT&T Impossible Feats. The next year, Sidney Johnson, a player for Coach Carrill, the legendary Coach Pete Carrill, was part of upending UCLA as a Princeton basketball player.
I think it's safe to say that Jim Harrick and a lot of those former Bruins know the name Sidney Johnson and recognize some of those guys from that Princeton team. They messed up a lot of office pools that day.
93% free throw shooter for a big man as he drops it in there. Tyler Harris makes the first. Valuable.
And for his size, he's really like a guard in a post body. His perimeter skills are exceptional. His touch is terrific. As Ed Cooley likes to say, he will stretch defenses for us this year just as much as Bryce Cotton does.
Largest lead of the game. Harris has 6 points, averaging 13. Providence up by 12. This is a no-let-up game for head coach Ed Cooley. He wants offense, and he wants to see a lot of it.
He wants them to play into a flow, too. He loves it when their defense leads to transition, but he wants more team basketball. Felt that they forced a lot of things at the Paradise Jam.
Ted Bancroft is into the ball game. 3-point bucket. Marcus Gilbert, more than half of his shots are from outside of the arc. He's having a good game. He's got 9. That's the best player in red on the floor, isn't it?
Yeah, he's their leading scorer. He can stretch you from 3. I like the fact that he's an inside-out guy.
Harris can't hold on to the basketball. 4th turnover. And Gilbert was part of the MAC All-Rookie team last year. A little bit firm. That one is tipped out of bounds.
They might not run backdoor cuts, but Sidney Johnson believes in Princeton principles. Share the basketball, get ball reversals, and it's the biggest reason why Gilbert was all-MAC rookie last year. Plays inside-outside, but half of his shot attempts are from three-point land.
Had a chance to play in this matchup in this building as a freshman last year, Gilbert did. All the way, and he will go to the line. LaDante Hinton spied an opening there, tried to slice right through it.
Fairfield fouls number 21. That loses Spurs.
Friars like to push the pace at home, and LaDante Hinton, like Tyler Harris, he's one of those guys for Ed Cooley that can handle the ball on the break. This team is not just restricted by having their smaller guards handle the rock.
Amadou Sidibe, his first foul. First free throw is good for a man who makes 3/4 of his free throws this year. And who just went over 1,000 points if you're just joining us at the free throw line. He's got 6 in this one.
Full court pressure being set up by Providence right now, and they'll do this from time to time. Not so much trapping, not so much pressure, just letting the offense know you're there, picking up in the full court.
Big body, hands up, Kadeem Betts. Unable to stop the team captain, Amadou Sidibe, out of the Bronx. Saw a moment ago. Reese Kofani checking out of Cameroon for Providence, number 13 on that white jersey. Providence playing here at home in the white. Fairfield, the visitors from the MAC. About 2 hours away if you're going to make a drive between these two campuses. Timeout is called for Fairfield. Getting a chance to see some depth chart for Providence already. Getting to see a man do a ton of athletic scoring.
This December, experience the gift of exacting precision and some of the best offers of the year at the Lexus December to Remember sales event. This is the pursuit of perfection. This Black Friday and Saturday at Radio Shack, get hundreds of great deals, like a Samsung Galaxy S4 for just $49.99. Plus, get a free $50 online Visa when you buy a phone. Check the halls this Black Friday with big deals on the best brands at Radio Shack.
Providence off to a 6-1 start this year. Just got done playing in the Paradise Jam down in the Virgin Islands, losing to Maryland in the finale, but they've played some great basketball heading into the finale. I would imagine for head coach Ed Cooley, the challenge is not looking ahead to Sunday. And by the way, on Fox Sports 1 Sunday evening, when they take on Kentucky in Brooklyn.
He told us this morning, he said, we have not said the word Kentucky to our guys. One game at a time, not overlooking the Stags here this afternoon.
And they're certainly playing that way. Putting the pedal to the metal offensively especially. Barrow with the miss for Fairfield. Chris Dunn not on the court on the sophomore talented point guard. Therefore, Bryce Cotton, the senior, has to share that role with a few others. With the miss, wanted the foul along the baseline. Kadeem Batts came up empty.
Big fella was crafty right there, just couldn't get it to finish at the other end. But impressive along the baseline.
We have Cotton on the outside. Fortune on the outside, some bigger bodies this year. And you mentioned it earlier. Tyler Harris makes the difference. LaDontae Henton, can he go all the way? Yes, he can. He had the steal. He had the bucket, taking advantage of Fairfield's 5th turnover. He's got 8 points.
That's why Friar fans love LaDontae Henton. So versatile with his skills. So good defensively. Always has his hands in there. And then just leaned it by himself. LaDontae Henton that time taking on 3 red jerseys that were back for the Stags by himself.
35, Johnson checks in. He replaces Barrow.
11-point lead for Providence. I tell you, if I was 18, 19, 20 years old, it'd be hard for me not to look ahead to Kentucky. to playing in that brand new building, the Barclays.
Should be a good one.
And a tired team. When you take a trip like that, you get home in the middle of the night, pre-Thanksgiving Day. As well, you talk about called a little bit closer. Reese Kofani with the foul, his 2nd. And Ed Cooley saying, I'm a little bit grumpy this morning. You know, I think it's probably because of all the travel, but what a great career he has had. And you were educating all of us. I mean, this is coming home for him, a high school legend playing here in Providence.
Yeah, grew up right down the street. His dream job is like the mayor. He's not only the mayor of campus, he's the mayor of the city when you walk around with the guy.
Coleman Johnson out of Oak Hill, Virginia, his first 2 points. And here I thought, Mr. Parisi, you were the mayor when we walked into the building.
No one has that title over Ed Cooley, who a little bit under the weather in the Paradise Jam.
And no fun to travel when you're under the weather. But with a team that's heating up, getting ready for Kentucky, that could be an elixir.
And in there early in this first half, they've had to earn it the hard way, not getting easy ones in transition, but for Providence, this is what Ed Cooley wanted to see, particularly in the first half very early, is getting out to that early lead. If there's one crutch about the Paradise Jam for the Friars, it was that they got behind and their offensive was stagnant at times. He loved their D. He loved their comebacks, but in all 3, they had to fight, scrap, and claw from behind.
Friars already in the bonus. Cotton will shoot 1+ here. 92% free throw shooter. This team crushes it at the free throw line. I mean, a real strength for Providence. Got it in Jinx, Mr. Cotton. They're 7 of 7 today.
I was just about to say, here comes the broadcaster's Jinx, but Cotton is nearly automatic, and the Friars have been top 3 or 4 nationally these first couple of weeks of the season.
Yeah, as of this morning, Boston College at 84%, and the University of Pacific in Stockton, California, the only teams better. That's 300+ to check in. Got to kick those in if you're Fairfield. They finally, how many chances do they need? Unable to get it done. Sidibe will be frustrated about that, certainly. You hang around. When you earn a layup, when you're a mid-major playing up like this, you've got to kick them in, because things like that can happen on the other end. There's Cotton.
Wow. Right to left cross, and then the little flip off the window there at the end.
And that one is turned over. 6 turnovers for Fairfield. Largest lead of the game because of Mr. Cotton.
How about this for highlight reel stuff? Doesn't have to go to the left hand. The reverse scoop there, righty. Stuck in the air. Terrific by Bryce.
Already Big East Player of the Week. An athlete from Tucson, Arizona, actually out west, Palo Verde High School out there. Decided he'd like a weather challenge and a great basketball challenge.
It's a little bit of a challenge compared to Arizona, right?
Yeah, you bet it is. Blocking call there, Doug Chappelle. Team's 8th foul, the 2nd on the freshman.
I thought the most impressive thing with Bryce Cotton, end of last season going into this season, is playing with this nagging knee, this constant tendonitis, because there's a lot of nights where this guy's got to play 37, 38, 39 minutes, get about 1 or 2 days of treatment in the training room because the knee is so inflamed, doesn't really get all of those practice reps, and then come back out and play another 40 minutes 2 or 3 days later.
First free throw miss and a rarity for Providence. 7 minutes to go. Hang around with us at halftime as well. Take a look inside of the Big East. There's that one. We'll send the super sophomore to the line.
Just good aggressive offense by Gilbert on the curl there. Putting it down and getting 2 from the charity stripe. You can almost read Ed Cooley's lips to his defense there saying, move your feet. The way they're calling it this year, the advantage is to the offense. You see more offenses running curling action, trying to get the ball to the inside of the paint. Got to be in position early defensively.
Misses the second, a 75% free throw shooter before that miss. It's interesting, and you would imagine that at this point in the season, still in November, December, the official trying to get more comfortable with things. Josh Fortune, a long turnaround 3. He's got 7.
Hey, when Fortune's feet are set, he can shoot with anyone.
He scored 10, had 6 rebounds against Fairfield last year. Trying to answer back, no tip, nothing going. Marcus Gilbert with the miss a moment ago. Has a pretty shot, Fortune. I don't even know if he clearly got all squared up. Perfect from the floor. Harris along the baseline, and that one is short. Fortune with the tougher look a moment ago, converted. He had some help, though. Tyler Harris cleans things up.
Tyler Harris has such a soft touch off his mid-range game. And Ed Cooley loves running this type of action for not only Bryce Cotton, but Fortune as well, where they look at them close that little gap there. 2 screeners come together at the free throw line. The shooter able to set his feet. They got several points off that play, off that action right there down at the Paradise Jam.
And he beat Vanderbilt down there, LaSalle, before losing to Maryland. Continued their nice run, Providence does, against SEC schools. Won 4 consecutive against the Fine Conference. Nice job D'ing up, hands up, Tyler Harris. That's what you're talking about.
Absolutely. Moving the feet, showing the hands. And speaking of hands, Barrow that time, 2 hands on the back against Kadeem Batts. That's one of the things they're looking for.
Second foul on Barrow. And Batts just another solid free throw shooter for this team. 24 of 29 coming in. He and Hinton can act certainly as bodyguards when they get together on the floor. Another grinder that will earn his rebounds.
Look at that, moving the feet, staying down, hands straight up. It's a solid job defensively on the interior.
Born in Boston, Played his high school basketball in Georgia bats. And he edges closer to 1,000 points as well.
What a luxury it is that when your post guys can knock down free throws.
I think they got Tyler Harris with his second there. All right, so you're 6-1, you're Providence. You've played pretty well in a tournament. People are starting to ask, who is this team? Where are they in the Big East as you forecast ahead?
I'll tell you, I think they're solid offensively for when they have a flow. Like Ed Cooley was saying at the shoot around this morning, he said, listen, we can make plays. We can make shots individually offensively. We isolated and we had guys try to make too many plays on their own the 3 games down with the Paradise Jam. We need more flow, reverse the basketball, because I think defensively when Big East Conference play comes around, this team's going to be able to guard any team in the league. It's just going to be about the roles. Does Chris Dunn come back healthy? Is Cotton able to be comfortable on the perimeter? Those are the things this ball club's going to have to figure out.
Barrow makes both free throws, this senior. He's over 900 points too. Dunn's a big part of that, isn't he?
Absolutely.
And his shoulder.
Even if he's young, the point guard is that key component because it just opens everything up for your shooters and your forwards.
Because he's not the scorer Cotton is, obviously. I mean, a true point guard, correct?
Right. He starts it defensively. He's able to get them into their stuff, push the pace.
DeRoche's with the miss a moment ago. 7-footer, couldn't get the turnaround to go. And that one out of bounds and head the other way. 7 turnovers for Fairfield. Where if there's an Achilles for any young team, and I mean any young team, it's going to be making your free throws and taking care of the basketball. That's where Fairfield, the youngsters, are struggling.
No question. Sidney Johnson has said that repeatedly these last couple of weeks. We need to do a better job of taking care of the ball, but as long as you start 2 freshmen and 3 sophomores, that could be a challenge for a while.
You can see Johnson, if you stand in his shoes, the head coach of Fairfield, seeing the big picture early in this season, almost this entire season. These are his players, players he wanted to have play for. Lincoln Davis whistled for the foul.
And let's look at the youth that he has. Barrow was on the all-MAC rookie team. The majority of the team is underclassmen. Amadou Sidibe was the co-rookie of the year. So these aren't just freshmen and sophomores. These are very good underclassmen. And you mix in those older veterans, this program is definitely built for the future.
Since 2000, when you look at the MAC and you think of teams that are playing in March in the NCAA tournament, Siena 4 times, Iona 5 times, Manhattan a pair of times, Niagara, those are the teams from the MAC that have played in March.
And you know what the key factor in all of those teams were is that it was junior and senior-led programs, guys with the experience, guys with the minutes that had that confidence going into conference play.
Tough look, but somehow it was the right one for the big fella, Coleman Johnson, along the baseline. He's got 4. He made that look easy. 4 minutes to go here in the half. Cotton seeking some advice from Ed Cooley before he cranks up the half court. That one batted away, and a quick foul, a foul of frustration. Fairfield trying to hang around.
They're still battling.
Is that a drive or a train?
That might be a combination of things.
A combination. Drive to the
Brooklyn.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, it's going to be a heck of a matchup for Providence, and I think we'll learn a lot about Providence once that game is completed.
Okay, yeah, and you'll be able to see not only the way his perimeter guys go against some length at certain positions that John Calipari has, but with Randall on the inside, how the baseline defense looks. It's the best part about November and December before conference play, what you find out about your ball club.
Coleman Johnson makes the first free throw. We saw Coleman a moment ago with a pretty baseline shot. He's got 5. Again, he's an old man out there, a sophomore. Coleman makes them both. He's taken advantage of his first 2 starts of the year. Had 7 points, 7 rebounds against Richmond. 6-6 against Louisville. So for Fairfield, you think of Providence and Louisville and Richmond. Nice challenges.
Oh, they played a very tough non-conference schedule. And listen, you're playing the defending champs Louisville. It's going to be tough enough. They played Rick Pitino's ball club 34-34 even in the second half.
Goldsboro with a fabulous offensive rebound gives Cotton another chance. Short as it bangs off the iron. 15-point lead for the home team, Providence, here at the Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence, Rhode Island. Step back, firm. Maurice Barrow with the miss, but another chance for Fairfield. They'd love to hit on one of these. They have earned the open shots, but Gilbert with the miss. Rebound grabbed by Bax.
Stags just relying on the perimeter right now.
Yeah, you hit on a few, it's a different contest. Why not?
Loves to end a lot of their stuff with high pick and rolls.
Love the effort there by Henton. And Ed Cooley, I'm not sure if he loved that effort. He was 10 steps onto the floor calling that timeout.
A little bit of an animated TO right there, and that, that's one of the things he was looking for today was that offensive flow, that efficiency, how they removed the basketball, how all 5 guys in white jerseys played in unison offensively.
This great university, a Catholic university, opened its doors in 1917. Neither one of these schools, with regard to student population, large, about 4,000 students. As we mentioned earlier, and we did so with respect and with a smile, there's actually about 30 Dominican friars and sisters still on the academic staff.
You see all of that tremendous history, which is a few decades ago, Lenny Wilkins and Ernie DiGregorio and Marvin Barnes, but you move even forward to the late 80s, the Final Four run with Rick Pitino coaching Billy Donovan, and the 97 Elite 8 run with Pete Gillen.
They lost to Syracuse in the Final Four. Indiana would go on to win the national championship that year. I think for the next generations of basketball fans, that's when Rick Pitino and Providence moved firmly onto the landscape. That's 7 turnovers, and I think Cooley will tell you that's too many, and a foul on the other end. Josh Fortune trailed with him, had the arms up, but he was moving the entire time. Probably too many turnovers for Cooley.
And both coaches may be upset about the turnover side. I thought Barrow was going to use the body just a little bit more here at Fortune. He almost anticipated the contact. Most important thing, though, is to get those 2 from the charity stripe if you can't score the bucket in transition.
Barrow, similar to, as we have spoken, of Batts and Henton. A scoring and a rebounding, but he does it all with effort. A grinder-type player at 6'5", not afraid to work for his rebounds and his points.
You see his strength in his upper body. He is a tough matchup in MAC play.
Kind of a poster child when you look at Barrow for a good mid-major player.
Yep.
His size, his strength, maybe doesn't translate to the BCS level.
Play multiple positions.
They get physical underneath. Goldsboro will go to the line.
Sidney Johnson not wanting Grennan to reach in there. Goldsboro's guarded there on the catch at the high post already.
Goldsboro out of Newcastle, England. He's averaged about 6 minutes a contest in the larger leads. One like this, they're getting a look at a man who's 6'9" and a senior.
Hey, there were stretches last year where Ed Cooley had 5, 6, 7 bodies at best that he could play when they were riddled with injuries. Goldsboro gave them some good minutes at times.
Yeah, I would imagine if you head across the Atlantic, he is revered. Played for the Manchester Magic on England's national U18 team. So somewhere in the world of this game heading to the other side in England, they're watching very closely as one of their favorite sons plays basketball in the Big East.
Sidibe's struggling right now on his shot attempts inside. He's doing a great job using his body and sealing off in the post there. Just has not been able to get any to drop over that front line.
And Sidney Johnson loves a lot of things about him, and it's not just basketball stuff. Pretty touch there. Hands high, a little lead. Coleman Johnson, the sophomore, with the bucket. And it's a 12-point lead, under a minute and a half to go in the half. 8 for Johnson, by the way. And some pressure to answer back.
Now, where would the momentum be going into the locker room here? Sidney Johnson clapping on his team. Can they get down to single digits, or could the Friars extend?
That's beautiful pass. Hinton defended very tough. And now you got a foul, and you got a coach pumping his fist, and Sidney Johnson on the sidelines. That's what you're talking about.
Multiple red jerseys swarming in there. Help side defense as good as it's been all afternoon right there for the Stags.
You can feel the officiating crew letting him play in the final 2 minutes of the half. Real 70% free throw shooter. And these are games of Big East v. MAC that you expect to win. Makes them both. 10-point lead. Again, light pressure. Don't want to give up an easy bucket if it's broken. Under a minute to go.
And Cooley calling a zone offensive set out.
That swings it over. For 3, firm. Rebound back the other way. Bancroft with the miss. Ted Bancroft.
It's a little quick in the shot.
Here we go. This is what you were talking about. Chance for the David to at least put that rock in his slingshot for the second half. A beautiful ball movement, and didn't really know where he was. Sidibe, still a 10-point lead. Hang with us at halftime. We'll go inside of this great conference, the Big East. Under 10 to go. Is there something for this pure score? Instead, he gives it up to Batts. Through the lane, couldn't get it to go. Shares the basketball so well this year, Bryce Cotton. Looked like the perfect look. Kadeem Batts. Well, a 10-point game. Surprising to some. We'll see what the second half has to hold. Is there a David Goliath thing going on? Stay with us for halftime. Big East basketball, and Fairfield hopes the ball will bounce their way in the second half as we get set to play. You know, you talk about Fairfield and the schedule they have played. Not going light on it at all was Providence. As we mentioned, they beat BC, and they did so in front of a great Providence crowd here. I mean, a big crowd that came to take on that game. 11,100, the second largest crowd for a home opener. So it's been BC, Brown, Marist, then Vermont, Vandy, LaSalle, and Maryland.
I think it's been a good mix, too, of trying to get some momentum going at home, but also traveling on the road and going against some high-level competition, which is only going to continue Sunday night in Brooklyn against the Kentucky Wildcats.
Chance to play in a beautiful NBA arena, a brand-new facility, and a chance to play against... You think you're playing talented freshmen when you're playing Fairfield. Wait till you play the youngsters for Kentucky.
That's right. And here's the zone that the Friars will whip out.
How often? Is it consistent? I mean, is it a back-and-forth defensive set?
It's back and forth. In an ideal world, Ed Cooley would play man-to-man. He's even saying at the shoot-around today, with Dunn out, going to have to go with the zone a little bit more to save some fouls.
Coleman Johnson with the bucket. The sophomore, who averages 4, has 10. That's how you pull an upset, or at least keep it close. You get guys to step out of their zone. Nice job defensively as Gilbert backs it out of bounds.
Thought Cotton maybe had the mid-range pull-up right there, but Fairfield coming out and doing what they were successful midway through the first half and on, and that's getting the ball into the paint.
Cotton certainly not afraid to penetrate, playing a different role as Benny was talking about with Chris Dunn, the point guard, out. Hangs around the perimeter a little bit more. That's a beautiful skip pass, and Kadeem Batts unable to, maybe a step or two outside of his range, convert.
Better on the kickouts than it was a Tough catch there for Bats on the move.
8-point lead, trying to make it 6 for Fairfield. And you wonder about the three-point attempts. Well, instead, only a three-point play. Foul there, whistle. Looked like they got Tyler Harris on that one. That is his third foul on Harris.
Something Ed Cooley's going to have to keep an eye on and react to. That was a strong offensive take by Barrow, who you see has that upper body.
Firm on the free throw.
You almost know sometimes with Barrow that he wants to get to the front of the rim. Providence could probably give him a little bit of a step now. He's really looking for that body contact to get to the line.
Well, his sophomore year, he had a heck of a game. It was a loss to Providence, but it was at home. At 15 points, 5 rebounds when Providence came to visit. He's got 7 points today. 5, that'll turn it over.
And you know, it's not an all-out, full-court aggressive press, but sometimes those are the ones that bait you into playing slow. Those three-quarter court 1-2-2s make you dribble, make you pass it back and forth. The Friars caught off guard.
Very interesting start. Still keeping an eye on Fairfield, trying to bang a bunch of deep shots to really hit a home run. I don't know, though. They're having success trying to do this in the middle. Fortunate amount of turnover there. By the way, that's 8 turnovers for Providence, now more than Fairfield. As I say that, they're even at 8. Cotton trying to set the record straight. Boy, he can score when he wants to, can't he?
And you saw the look in Bryce Cotton's eyes. He was mad at himself. He was so passive last time down. Very aggressive in transition.
He's got 10 points. That's with the rebound. Here we go again. This may be where Providence likes to put the foot down a little bit. Cooley watching to see how they respond, but Fairfield, some effort, some athleticism. And Cotton, you said that look in his eyes.
You can see full head of steam, driving right, turns on the jets, goes to that next gear for the finish on the break.
And we talked about the 1,000-point score in LaDante Henton. Cotton with 10 points in this game. He's got nearly 1,500 career points.
He can fill it up, and if it's a night, especially here at the dunk, when he's shooting it well from downtown, look out.
We may be having some breakfast in Tucson, and folks around campus at U of A wondering why Mr. Cotton didn't stay with them, missing him, especially here on Fox Sports 1 with this nationally televised Big East game.
You know what? There's a lot of fans for a lot of different programs and a lot of state wondering that this time of the year when guys get off to good starts.
So you always provide that good balance.
That's right. That's what I'm here for.
First foul on Coleman Johnson, first team foul. Malcolm Gilbert, the older brother of Marcus Gilbert, checks in. Big fella, number 44 in that red jersey. Fairfield in red, Providence in white, and in white trying to stroke a three-pointer was LaDante Henton, who earlier today went over 1,000 career points. Barrel all the way. Boy, great skip pass on a lead. And right away, whistles, and we can hear them a stop and play.
It's not a timeout. It's because Tyler Harris took a shot there. He's talking to Gary Prager and Earl Walton in his eye. The officials stopped it on their own, but Barrow just outrunning Henton in the backcourt that time, just got ahead of the field. Henton was the last guy back from the top of the key three and just outran him.
Veteran at this mid-major level, playing in more than 100 games, Barrow. These are the kind of games he wants to show up for. And Harris is still not comfortable, is he?
He waved over to the officials, and Cooley's got to come out of the game. And officials blew the whistle again just to get him in there. Friars not needing a timeout, and this was the play. Center of the screen, Harris is in the paint. Jump, you know, it looks like his own teammate Batts caught him with the poke. Kadeem Batts got him that time in the eye.
They take a long look at him. Carson DeRocher checks into the game in his place, 7-footer. Well, he receives a nice skip pass from Cotton, couldn't hold on. Is there a second chance? No, sir. Kadeem Batts couldn't hold on to the basketball. The Stags come back the other way. And they're trailing it by just 7. Feel that glimmer of hope in red. I would guess well outside of his shot selection choice, Malcolm Gilbert with the miss.
Sidney Johnson cringing over there a little bit. Got this down to a 7-point game with some good momentum, and then took a shot very, very early in the shot clock.
Then I got my 6'11" guy shooting nearly a 3. Youth is wasted on the young. DeRocher will go to the line in the act of shooting.
That's Johnson down low, and regardless of what rules you're looking at, when Kadeem Batts at his size is able to back you down and get you on his back that low in the paint, you're in trouble as a post defender.
Second foul on Coleman Johnson, team second. The senior out of Boston, Kadeem Batts at the line. Bangs that free throw home. Had a bunch of double-doubles in his career. We talked about how he's a grinder and an earth mover on the hardwood. He's got 11 career.
Now Ed Cooley's thrown on a little full-court defensive pressure.
Lead is 9. That's how they will get back in this game. Maurice Barrow drains the 3. The Queens native. He's got 10.
Are not going away. Not be afraid to take big shots for Sidney Johnson at the start of the second half.
I tell you, they went into the locker room with a 10-1 run, and if you include the second half, first half, an 18-5 run overall. Providence just one of their last 11 from the hardwood.
And one interesting note to keep an eye on is how long Tyler Harris sits off to the side. Got his eye poked out there. He's given Ed Cooley very good minutes today, but this is the lineup with Batts and Henton down low with DeRocher and Fortune and Cotton in the backcourt that has to get it done for Cooley right now.
127 miles separate Providence and Hartford. Fairfield, the city they call their home. They've made the drive to see one another a bunch, but you have to go back to the late 60s to see the last time Fairfield won a game. He will go to the line. Foul after releasing the basketball, Bryce Cotton. We will step aside. When we come back, Cotton will go to the line. One of the most dangerous scorers in this conference. Have to
defend. For being a young ball club, they make it ugly defensively at times. They played Louisville even 34-34 in the second half up at Mohegan Sun, and part of it also is controlling tempo offensively, and they've made Providence struggle. They started out hot and now just 4 for their last 15.
So they're doing it again. They're continuing to do what they have done to talented BCS opponents early in the year. Bryce Cotton having a very good all-around game again. Nearly automatic at the free throw line. He's got 11 to go along with those 4 assists. And it's a 7-point Providence lead, 15-35 to go in the contest. And he makes them both. All right, what's the response here from Providence defensively? Enough pressure to make it interesting, certainly. Did they get it? No, they didn't. 10 seconds had disappeared. You can almost mark it with the shot clock.
We saw Fairfield force this against the Friars just a couple of minutes ago. This time Providence doing a good job clogging up the passing lanes in the full court and forcing the Stags into the turnover.
We are used to seeing Fairfield turn the basketball over because of their youth, not as much with regard to Providence. Fairfield averaging 18 turnovers a game. Providence getting close to their game average already. They average 13.
Cooley really likes the screen zones in the half court.
Rarely you see Cotton miss that shot because of his action. It was a wide open shot. Back the other way, forcing the issue just a bit. Freshman K.J. Rose, he's got fooled.
K.J. Rose likes to do that. He likes to push it in transition.
Fortune, not there. Rebound, Malcolm Gilbert. The lead is 6. The crowd is quiet. Barrow with the miss. And a foul trying to grab that second chance. Coleman Johnson.
Shot selection is key now for the Stags because they've pretty much been one and done each offensive possession. There's one thing the Friars are doing well right now. It's controlling the defensive backboards, but Ed Cooley's urgent ball pressure and intensity there on the sidelines. It feels like the Stags are getting too many high percentage looks right now.
Couple of things. Coleman Johnson, his third foul. The other good news is that Tyler Harris back into the contest. Set out a few moments ago, was batted up in the nose and the eye area. Good to see him back out there. Henton, nearly a shot at a three-point play. What an aggressive physical effort there.
Once Providence got the basketball past half court and saw space between himself and the back two lines of the defenders of that three-quarter court press, and just really got aggressive and strong and got ahead of steam.
4 fouls on Malcolm Gilbert now. It's taken very few minutes to dole those out. Henton with the miss. The best free throw shooting team in the Big East is Providence. Team captain Sidibe for Fairfield. And he drops the second one in. Henton with 9, over 1,000 career points with a free throw make earlier in this game. They broke it. Is there a look? Barrow just has it taken away by Henton. Back the other way, all the way, off the glass, gets it to go.
How about LaDante Henton single-handedly taking over the game on both ends of the floor.
Great effort there by Cotton.
Look at this. You want to talk about highlight reel that coaches will show the team tomorrow in a meeting. 2 hands on the leather, clean strip, and then by himself thought he was going to pitch it out 1-on-2 against 2 red jerseys.
You know, it's fun. A very similar player when you see Barrow match wits with Henton. Similar size, guys that are big in their upper body. Henton just maybe a little bit more athletic to be able to play at the BCS level. They banged into one another right there. Henton's so important for the success of this team this year. 3-point attempt, firm. And a rebound that is grabbed by Batts. Nearly fouled on a reach around there by Lincoln Davis. So if you're Providence, you're thinking, all right, boys, it's put away time now. Let's do this. Fortune, 3. Got it!
That's what this crowd was looking for, and you see the defensive intensity going up a notch right now. Fortune with the feet set.
Crowd's back in it. Another turnover. Fortune has 10. Harris all the way, and an intentional foul.
He got the intentional there, but the Friars got themselves back into it with that ball movement. Tyler Harris makes 2 red jerseys, cover him up, draws 2 defenders, and Josh Fortune in catch and shoot situations is terrific.
Tyler Harris with the intentional foul. Well,
that was a good call.
Yes.
Just went for the forearms and grabbed it. I don't think he did it to hurt him, but there wasn't a play on the basketball there.
And they will cross-check themselves as they take another look at it. Ed Cooley gets his crew together.
Good jump stop there in the lane, and Fortune moving on penetration. That is the key for shooters. The biggest adjustment from high school to college. Moving on penetration and getting out of your defender's vision.
A fun matchup for Cooley as he coaches against the team that he led to 25 victories just a couple of seasons ago. Well, he's fun to be around. I don't know if he hadn't had his coffee yet this morning. He had a fun edge. Very honest. I mean, those of us that cover these games, first of all, it's our honor. But he's open. And here's what they're looking at. Yeah, waiting for the ball to come on through as they grabbed him. They grabbed Harris, who had a wide open look at the bucket.
You want to hustle back defensively, and you want to not give up easy layups and not give up easy 2 points. The officials are just checking right now to make sure that it wasn't so severe to where you need to be giving out technicals or anything worse than that. Ed Cooley wants them to start playing. He's saying, hey, let's go. Come on, what's the deal right now? Saw Fairfield turn the basketball over there trying to throw it ahead, and then it was the pitch ahead with Tyler Harris ahead of the field. Thought it was a hard swat down on the arm, but nothing excessive. Official Gary Prager just came over to the bench, just said, we definitely have a flagrant 1, just wanted to make sure it wasn't a 2, and they just gave us the thumbs up that it is just indeed a 1.
Casual fan on this holiday weekend, explain the difference, please.
Well, I think when it's a 1, it's a situation like that to where it wasn't just a play on the basketball, you're hitting arm, you're grabbing arm. 2 goes to the next level. You're talking about a push from behind, a guy able to get really hurt, and it's obviously not a situation you want to be in defensively when you're getting back on D.
Tyler Harris looks just fine, thank you very much. He's got 10 points. Scoring really being spread about for Providence.
And both of these coaches they want to keep it clean, applauding good hustle plays, but you don't want to see guys get ejected or get technicals for anything excessive.
Yeah, at no point has been the tone of this game. It's been physical basketball. The effort has been there. A lot of these youngsters have known each other well before they played in college against one another. Outside of this man with the basketball, who's playing all the way out in Arizona, as he Bryce Cotton. 15 on the shot clock. Bats a little bit firm as he bangs it off the glass. Harris fighting and fighting, and a whistle blows.
It's going to stay there. Well, it was good pick and pop action by Cotton and Bats. Bats avoided the charge by stopping short, but even though the Friars are going to the foul line, you have to credit these Stags. You see lots of red jerseys in there scrapping and clawing on the backboards.
That's 4 fouls on Coleman Johnson, by the way. Harris with his 11th point of the contest. So he will sit down with the 4. Coleman Johnson will come back in. Harris 5 of 5 from the line so far. Now, is it being called a little bit tighter this year? Maybe. 12:31 to go, and the Friars already in the bonus. Every time there's a whistle, they'll go to the line from here on out. At some point, shooting 2. Friars putting their foot down. It's a 10-0 run, and Harris whistled for the foul there.
Fire fouls on number 25, Tyler Harris, is 4th, team second.
4th on Harris. It's going to take some learning for these players, isn't it?
You have to adjust. You have to anticipate. Certain black and white rules, they're not going to change. Forearm, the arm bar, 2 hands on the back.
2 team fouls on Providence. Of course, 7 already for Fairfield. Fairfield had a nice big run. This 3 would help get him going again, but it's firm. Fortune with the rebound. Cotton takes over the offense again. Under 12 minutes to go in this contest. Providence looking to improve to 7-1. They are working that shot clock. Here goes Henton. Henton with an offensive foul. You wait until you see the call these days. And a nice job stepping in there, doing what you're supposed to do, the team captain. Bondu Sidibe. Friars.
Is this right here? They had it down to 6. Gilbert was 4 for 8 from the field, 10 points in the first half, and he's only taken 1 shot here in the second half. Be interesting to see what the Stags, what Sidney Johnson runs offensively, but individually for him, how aggressive he is here for the final 11 minutes.
Doug Chappelle is into the game for Fairfield. His first action that he has seen. Gilbert with the basketball a moment ago. He's at the top of your screen, now at the top of the key. We will watch Marcus, who came in as the most dangerous threat, as you mentioned. Hammered. A beautiful block there by Hinton. There he is to swat it away.
That's a big back line of the zone with DeRozan in the middle and Batts and Hinton on the two low spots.
11 minutes to go in this contest. Batts fouled along the baseline.
Listen, this time of the year, regardless of the competition, coaches want to work on their own individual defensive principles. And they're going to be going against some big front lines this year. If their help side defense can be like that for conference play in January and February, Ed Cooley's going to be a happy man.
Third foul on Doug Chappelle. Batts off the front of the iron with the miss. Steve Smith is in, the freshman, the Pennsylvania native for Fairfield. Smith saw some key minutes against Louisville late in the contest. Lit on it for the second one, and a miss. 11 minutes to go. Friars by 16. Certainly, when there have been struggles for Providence, it's not a byproduct of looking ahead to Kentucky Sunday night. You can sense for head coach Ed Cooley that would not be a problem. Well, he had the look and he earned it. There's your man, Marcus Gilbert, shooting, but he missed a layup.
What a catch.
Back the other way. Batts catch and bucket. Kadim's got 10.
Ed Cooley was waving his group on there. Push it, push it. Don't worry about the scoreboard. Run. What a delivery by Cotton.
5 Friars in double digits in this contest. That's a number I know Coach Cooley likes. They'll get Fortune with the foul.
Not only the delivery by Cotton ahead of the field on the pitch, but how about the catch by the big fella Batts? Then to gather himself without traveling and the soft touch at the end.
Yeah, we see the beautiful pass when we attend a game like this. But the one thing that we take for granted is the catch.
It's usually what leads to the turnover. Morris, yeah, that's a good call.
So pair for Gilbert, he got it anyway. And he's got 12 points. But you find yourself as a mid-major team looking at a sophomore and saying, we need you. We're going to hang on in this game. This is your responsibility. That was easy for Batts, but he can't convert the second time. A chance to go to the line for LaDontae Hinton after the offensive rebound.
Kadeem Batts looking like a point guard there that time. Doing a good job avoiding the charge. Little shake and bake on the inside out, but then LaDontae Hinton doing what has been one of his trademarks here in Friartown, battling on the offensive boards.
Second foul on Amadou Sidibe. I'll tell you, Batts has been watching Hinton with that athleticism, maybe a little bit of envy there, trying to put that into his game. Not teammates, they see one another. They're similar size, similar game contributions. Batts is thinking, give it a look. Great effort by Batts to keep this one alive. Fortune hit hard. And it's an offensive foul, though. Fortune hit hard from behind, but he hit Gilbert in front of the body. Let's listen.
Don't like it. A lot of contact with bodies flowing. That one was close.
Shocked the crowd doesn't like that call. Right? You have to look hard to find the red in here.
That's right.
Under 10 minutes to go. Again, pressure not overwhelming. Spot up for 3 off the front of the iron. The miss by Steve Smith. There's a majority of his work from outside of the arc. Batts puts that one away. Kadeem with the bucket. He's got a dozen.
And that's been one of the goals of Providence all afternoon. offensively, sharing the basketball, but most importantly, the big fella bats sealing in the lane. Cotton with the head up and just got that inside position.
Foul on Josh Fortune, his 4th, so he sits for a moment. Ted Bancroft, the senior, the Massachusetts native, checks into the contest. Lead is 19. That matches their largest lead. You lead by 19 at this point in the game, and you're getting things done. Focus to the final buzzer important as you get set for Kentucky on Sunday night. This there along the baseline of Dante Henton. He'll take a few threes.
He will, and it's not one of the top things he's known for, but when his feet are set and he has time, can be a threat there as Sidney Johnson chats it over and talks with the officials. I'm sure he's not asking how the Thanksgiving meal was yesterday.
Bancroft his 2nd foul. KJ Rose at the line, a 53% free throw shooter this year. Lane violation, they danced back out, plus the free throw was good. Until I see that graphic, I can't help but look ahead.
Oh, it should be a great one.
Great measuring stick. That game for Providence is in Brooklyn.
John Calipari has 5 out of the top 10 freshmen ranked coming in all of college basketball this season.
Chiefs playing the big city. I'm always curious when you're maybe a 3-hour drive away and you're Providence, how you handle a road trip like that. You make it a true road trip. DeRocher not there, nearly turned it over. Shot clock is at 3. Cotton through the lane, runner is blocked. And Fairfield basketball.
Good job by the Stags late in the shot clock. You know the ball screen's coming. You know the middle penetration's coming. Solid job by Fairfield not to foul defensively.
A little bit more than 8 minutes to go in this contest. Former coach Vin Parisi, my name is Darren Sutton. Certainly glad you're spending your holiday Friday with us. Hope it was a holiday for most of you. Lincoln Davis with the miss for Fairfield a moment ago. Well, wherever you may be, college basketball in the Big East, the place to be today on Fox Sports 1. Providence at home up by 17, but it is a pretty short road trip, a couple of hours down to Brooklyn. We'll have it for you Sunday on Fox Sports 1. What a great early season test for Providence.
Yeah, test indeed, to say the least. And that if someone's going to challenge Andrew Wiggins from Kansas to be the #1 overall pick, it might very well be Julius Randle. Look at those moves.
That's a I have no school till Monday dance. That's exactly what that is. Ate a ton of good food yesterday. While my parents were sleeping in, I raided the candy drawer. Let's go to the basketball game. You have a candy drawer in your house?
Oh, of course. Candy cabinet.
You just saying that to be nice?
3 boys under 5.
Okay.
It's a cabinet situation. We're beyond the drawer.
Ben and I glad to have you with us. Safe travels throughout this holiday season. A lot of you busy traveling today, I would imagine. So this would be the put away for Providence now. Rocher's out on the floor getting some key minutes, the 7-footer. Bats can't hold on. Cotton sees the shot clock head down to 10. Bryce slices through and a little bit firm off the glass. Second effort there by Bats.
That's a tough call right there. That
was a great Kadeem with that one?
Yeah, that was a good split by Cotton to get it up on the glass. I don't know what Kadeem Bats did wrong that time. Cotton split in the pick and roll very effectively. Watch Bats. Bats goes in, jumps. I see that's not over the back. That's a tough one. I think that's just hustle.
Yes. Barrow at the line makes the first. We've enjoyed watching Maurice play today, the senior out of Queens, Christ the King High School. He's got 13. And will make some noise in the MAC this season for sure. Batts is ticked off, isn't he? He didn't like that call. So he fought again. Now this time there's a whistle the other way.
And for the most part, 99% of the game, I thought these officials did a terrific job this afternoon. Obviously, you see more whistles with the rules, but in the world of officiating, you're only as good as your last whistle, and Ed Cooley reminding the crew of that.
The team's defensive player of the year last year, Kadeem Batts. Good with the first free throw. And he's got 13. Scoring-wise, a blue-collar effort for Providence. You've got a bunch of guys hovered around a dozen points. You've got Batts and Hinton with certainly enough rebounds as he misses the second. Scoring very balanced.
Only 2 for 9 from the Friars from downtown today, so they've earned it the hard way. They've run hard in transition, and they've been effective in the paint.
Gilbert forced it through. The sophomore Marcus Gilbert with the miss. By the way, Providence doing all of this without Kuzi, preseason award finalist, as Kadeem Batts shoots a 3 and misses. Without Chris Dunn. In the preseason talked about as one of the nation's best point guards, a sophomore. 3 rings home after a kind of a poor choice of shots by Batts. Steve Smith back the other way, the freshman. He's got 5.
That's what Smith is known for. 19 of his 20 shots from three-point land entering the ball game today.
Kadeem with the high pick. That's his range. No foul there. That's where he should be shooting from. Marcus all the way through. Couldn't finish. You heard the whistle. Very athletic.
What a change of direction on the break by Gilbert. Looked like he was going to push through and go to the next level, and then on a dime, the cut back to the middle.
Third foul on DeRocher. Gilbert's got a dozen. He can make it 13 after the hard tumble. Kadeem Batts sits down. Josh Fortune is in. And Ed Cooley watches Batts go by, having a discussion about his long-range shooting. 6:20 to go.
Almost giving him a look like, did you get that one out of your system, big fella?
Well, Batts hit shot 6 threes, and his response probably would be, look, I've made half of them, coach.
That's right.
How many other guys on this bench have made 50% of their three-point attempts?
He was feeling good offensively there, and Ed Cooley just wanted more time off the shot clock, had his hands in the air.
Harris works that one home. Smith took a dive, no whistle there. Again, it's tougher, much tougher to earn a charge this year. Nice game for Harris. He's got 4.
Basket down low.
Just a sophomore. Two-plus years left of this young man.
He is long. His skill level is very high. The quick spin right there on the inside. Good body control. The smaller Smith on him. Smith trying to draw the charge there with the little flop at the end.
4th foul on DeRocher as he sends Gilbert to the line. Batts is back in. You think about Tyler Harris, that sophomore. Played for Mark Gottfried a couple of years back at NC State. It's just way into 19 games, but averaged just about a point plus a game. This truly is a coming out year for him. That sit out year probably helped.
And Cooley said the scout team last year used to beat the starting 5 so many times. Ricky Lito's in the NBA was on that team. Tyler Harris was on that team. Carson DeRozier was on that team.
Vinny, that's a team.
It's a good squad.
That's a very good squad. Lito with Dallas now in the NBA.
It probably helped the team of Bryce Conn and Vincent Council last year to help and challenge them to move on to a postseason year.
All right, so it's a dozen. And a 3 would really be interesting, and there it is. It's not a dozen anymore, folks. It's a 9-point Providence lead.
About the third run here we've seen out of the Stags to not go away quietly.
Cotton tried to answer with the miss, batted up in the air. Fortunate for KJ Rose that he found it. Gilbert, the three, short as it bangs off the corner of the iron. Friars up 9. Fairfield at least reaching up and poking the bully a bit. See how the home team responds. Harris, whistle.
I like that they went back to that, though, with Harris with his back to the basket. But look at the Stags. They're not worrying about the scoreboard right now. Hitting the gaps, ball reversals all the way to the shooter, Smith. The basketball going from one side of the floor to the other. Most coaches will tell you good things are going to happen.
Fairfield rolling through a 13-2 run right now. First free throw good for Harris. Big East was 4-1 yesterday. Some fun matchups in conference today. Well, he hasn't missed a shot. 8 of 8 from the line, 4 of 4 from the field. Have a contest, Mr. Harris.
What you call a perfect day.
Yeah, today in the Big East, you've got Butler and Oklahoma State, Creighton and George Washington, Villanova, Kansas.
Villanova, Kansas, that's like a Sweet 16 level game.
Smith nearly had a chance to chase his rebound down, and instead, Steve Smith Jr. commits the foul. Everyone in the Big East watching very closely. The new kids on the block, they have all known Butler because of their national success. Xavier and Creighton, the 3 new kids on the block. But a new coach at Butler as well. Brad Stevens in the NBA, coaching Boston. Brandon Miller taking over. How about that takeover? You're working in a real job as Miller was. And you get a job as an assistant because you missed the game, and about a year and a half later, you're...
It's almost how Brad Stevens got going.
That's exactly right.
Similar story, and you know, Butler fans are hoping it's the same outcome, but they got the cream of the crop from the Atlantic 10 to form this just special league.
14 points for Cotton. Maybe the favorite part of his line, though, 7 assists. You got to work hard to dole out 7 assists in a contest.
Yeah, and Ed Cooley and the staff needed that out of Bryce Cotton today.
You talk about Cotton coming in. More than 2-to-1 assist to turnover. Not even the point guard you expected. Hinton there, pins it against the backboard. Providence ball, that'll get the crowd bouncing a bit.
As the Stags keep making a run, LaDontae Hinton once again doing the little things.
Today's Land Rover player of the game is LaDontae Hinton of Providence. Went over 1,000 career points early. Has had a heck of a contest.
A special day in his career. He's going to remember for the 1,000th point. But the biggest reason why the Friars have been able to hold on this afternoon against the Stags, who have not quit at all. He's done it in the half court. He's done it in transition. And this is what he's best at, defending the back line of the Providence defense and doing all of the little things. 12 points, 7 rebounds. Just a terrific all-around game, and did so many things today that don't even show up in the box score and reaching that 1,000-point plateau.
LaDontae, our Land Rover player of the game. Out of Lansing, Michigan. About 3.5 to go in this contest. Got interesting for a moment. Back to a single-digit lead. Harris has been the other story. That's the first shot of any type that he's missed. He has had an incredible game, including sitting for some time. He got batted up by the eye trying to grab a rebound. Bats is there defensively. Timeout is called by Sidney Johnson's squad, the Fairfield Stags, with the timeout. 108 wins and just 89 losses in what has been a very fine career for Sidney Johnson. And And the fine career of Ed Cooley's been fun to watch from Fairfield here to back home to Providence. It'll be fun to watch him coach Sunday night against Kentucky.
For all the talk about the super freshman Jabari Parker from Duke, Andrew Wiggins from Kansas, a lot of NBA executives feel physically Julius Randle's the most NBA-ready body. It's going to be such a test for Kadeem Batts along the baseline, but Bryce Cotton in the guards as well.
We haven't seen in this contest sophomore point guard Chris Dunn. Shoulder injury cost him the first 3 games of the year. Hoping to see him Sunday against Kentucky. He, too, can make a huge difference. Free up Cotton a little bit.
Hey, you got to remember, he was a McDonald's All-American a couple of years ago as a high school senior out of the state of Connecticut. He chose Providence over UConn, chose him over Rick Pitino in Louisville, and he's a guy, he hurt that shoulder last year in a preseason game versus Rhode Island College, injured it again this year, came back for the Vermont game after missing a few, but was very sore, very limited today in the shoot-around, and you got the sense from Ed Cooley he was not going to play this afternoon.
The first time he played in a college game, as that bucket is good. Maurice Barrow with the 2 points to add to it. You knew he was good because in Chris Dunn's first college game against Colgate, he scored 7, he grabbed 6 rebounds, and he passed out 13 assists. Welcome to college basketball.
Athletic, big. He's got a lot of attributes you don't see in every point guard this day and age. Ed Cooley, like Sidney Johnson, wants to keep talking it over, wants to keep working on things.
Okay, so that's my question, Coach. Put your coach's slacks on. Not that you couldn't coach in those, but why this time out right now?
Well, because you're going to be in situations like this for conference play. You may look up at the scoreboard, you say it's an 11-point game, 234, what are we doing? But special situations, how guys handle the last 2 to 3 minutes of ball games, how they react to their coaches' instructions and huddles, that's what decides basketball games come conference time.
Holidays have just started, haven't they, on this Black Friday? A lot of you have been trying to do Santa's work as Santa's helpers today. Tyler Harris, again, he's missed 1 time. He's perfect from the free throw line, missed 1 from the floor.
How about that for balance?
2:30 to go in the contest. Shot clock at 19, by the way, and a quick whistle.
Fairfield fouls number 20, KJ Rose.
Don't forget, hang right here following college basketball. What a big weekend it is on Fox and Fox Sports 1. College football, college basketball. Notre Dame, Stanford on Saturday. Get to see Kentucky and Providence. Rob Stone is standing by, so don't go anywhere.
Just got to leave it on FS1 the next few days.
For Fairfield, Golden Johnson checks in, replacing Cotton Gilbert.
15 points for Cotton to go along with those 7 assists. He drains it to an even 16. That's 61 points in 3 career games against Fairfield for Cotton. 61 points. He's seen Fairfield plenty. He'll have a chance to make it 63, and he'll have to make a pair of free throws in order to do so.
Fairfield fouls number 14,
We've seen that a few times. Still being aggressive on the break.
Isn't it amazing how the truly quick guys, not only quick in feet, but quick in mind, can slow the game down like Cotton does?
And there's 2:25 left. He was moving like it was the opening 2 minutes of the ball game.
He is a pleasure to watch play. He has 18 points. You put together points, assists, and rebounds, put them all together as one number. He's number 1 in the Big East to start the year. Number 1. 3-point bucket drained by the big scorer, Marcus Gilbert. $19 for Gilbert. He'll be fixing the MAC for teams, won't he?
Absolutely, for the next few seasons.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. Fairfield starting no upperclassmen in this game. None. All freshmen and sophomore. Bats, and it's turned over. A couple of big men trying to handle the basketball there. could see Cooley talking about the pass. A letdown defensively, too easy there for Barrow.
Speaking about the pass, unselfish play by the Stacks, but definitely a miscommunication by the back of the Providence defense, as Ed Cooley not happy with his half-court D right now.
And Barrow took advantage, slid right through. Don't forget, one network on one night. We'll have fun with you. A doubleheader, North Carolina and UAB. Then it's number 3, Kentucky and Providence. Two legendary teams right here on Fox Sports 1. It all starts Sunday at 6 Eastern, only on America's new 24-hour sports network. The network that shows you more than 100 Big East basketball games this year. Fox Sports 1. So Providence, they went down south, obviously, and played in that Paradise Jam. And they played the likes of Vandy and LaSalle and Maryland. And, of course, you've got Kentucky, Rhode Island, and then UMass looming before New Year's.
After Kentucky, always a tough one when you have the Battle of the Ocean State.
Rob Stone is standing by. Fox College Extra is next. We're trying to keep the whistles to a minimum, Rob, and get it to you. If you want to keep your act together, keep your behavior right, have the large Friar come visit a school near you.
He's intimidating.
Minute 38 to go in this one. Real family feel in the arena in this contest on a holiday weekend. It's been a great vibe the entire contest. You can feel the community here really gathering around Providence.
Stacks still grinding it out here in the full court defensively.
And with it at 10, you can't wait too long. Cotton will go to the line, and he'll do so with a great resume today. 18, 4 rebounds, and 7 shared, 7 assists.
Most importantly for possessions like this, not really the guy that you want to put on the charity stripe.
Got nervous there. He thought he might have jinxed him. But he drops it in. He shoots 92%. Interesting, the scoring goes down because the passing goes up, correct?
Yeah, it just got better and better, but he's had a lot of stretches so far this year where he's had to facilitate.
And he's got 20. His career high is 34. Nice effort along the baseline. Again, the scoring of Marcus Gilbert. Gilbert into the 20s with 21. Providence trying to take care of that clock, take care of the basketball.
Get jammed up there in the corner. That's where you want it, middle of the floor.
10-point lead for the Friars. And a whistle blows. Cotton will go back to the line. So unless something dramatically changes in the 38th meeting between these two schools, Providence will win for the 33rd time. Okay, Coach, what are you positive with? We know that coach may be a little frustrated. If you're Ed Cooley, you're looking ahead to Kentucky now. If you're Sidney Johnson, what are your positive takeaways for Fairfield?
I think the fact that on the road with freshman and sophomore, you're able to scrap and not get yourself down when you got into a hole there. And that's what you need moving forward, not just for the rest of your non-conference slate, but for conference games as well. And they had some stretches where they knocked down perimeter shots, but I thought they were better when they had action going towards the rim. And that's what he was looking for today. Guys being aggressive, unselfish, especially on penetration.
15 of 17 Cotton from the line. 22 points. Check that, 16 of 17, only 1 miss. Bodies tumble around. Fifth foul on Harris. You tip your cap as he walks off. Took a hit up around the eye earlier in the contest. Has had a nearly perfect afternoon.
But he played very aggressive. He had one or two close calls. So Ed Cooley giving him a good pat. He gets down to the end of the bench and sees his teammates. And Harris is one of those guys who he would look to really be challenged and have to play well against that length that Kentucky has Sunday night.
The transfer from NC State averaged about a point when he played there. Sit out for a year, and that's who you've become this year. Those are the numbers. 23 points for Marcus Gilbert. 26 is his career high. Just a sophomore. And I would imagine a big-time mid-major score when they roll into the MAC. Got to put this game to bed, Providence, and move into the next phase of the season as Kentucky will be ready.
No foul, no foul.
31 consecutive non-conference wins. 30 in a row coming in at home.
Fairfield a little outmatched at times this afternoon, but Marcus Gilbert and some of these other guys shown they will not be an easy out in the MAC. And Ed Cooley, very balanced afternoon.
We're going to go back to 09 when Iona beat Providence. December 12th, 09, 73-82 was on the winning end. Last non-conference home loss.
Kevin Willard was the head coach of the Gals. Now Seton Hall's head coach in the Big East.
Casey Woodring is in. A round of applause for the freshman. Gets a chance to get some playing time. And the other round of applause is for Cotton. What an evening he had. 12-point lead. Buries the three. Barrow, the senior out of Queens. And for the Friars, it will be a single-digit victory, but a victory that has them set on Fox Sports 1 Sunday night to go toe-to-toe with Kentucky. Vin Parisi, my name is Darren Sutton. So long from Providence. Coming up next, Fox College Extra. Here's Rob Stone.
Darren, Vin,